shall cast you into a pit of infinite torches.
With your death, this nightmare may finally end. I'm...
What's up, dudes? This is my Blade Flurry General's Cry Berserker. I just wanted a bossing character, and I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted high damage numbers. I wanted to ignore mechanics. I wanted to just, you know, face through anything without having to worry about, you know, anything at all. So this is the build I went with. The damage is insane. I'll show you the POB soon. This is... Well, let's go over the skill tree first, let's say. Ascendancy, as I said, is Berserker. We take Warbringer, Aspect of Carnage, Crave the Slaughter, and Rite of Ruin. Warbringer has very big synergy, especially with Crave the Slaughter, and Rite of Ruin. So every time we Warcry and we are below 25 Rage, we will be full Rage. As you can see, 70 Rage, which is consumed by Berserk. And obviously, the moment Berserk goes down to 25 or below, we just can Warcry again, and it's back to 70. So we have insane uptime on Rage as well, which is very, very good, since Rage is most of our damage, as you will see soon. And I don't know how long it has been, but as you can see, we have like... Now we would drop it. It's been like, what, 15 seconds of Rage, and it has like 5-second up-down time. It's pretty decent. Then let's go over the skill tree very quick. These are the large cluster jewels, 2 of these. We just want physical damage and attack and cast speed, physical damage. These are the 2 important medium cluster and the important small cluster. So we want Haunting Shout. General's Cry intimidates nearby enemies and taunts them. Well, it taunts them, and Haunting Shout will make them be intimidated. That's the proper way to phrase that. Led by Example gives us Onslaught, so we have Perma Onslaught as well. Mob Mentality generates charges, so we basically have uptime on all 3 charges anyways at all times. This is insane, it's really nice. Provocateur gives us, well, crit and multi against taunted enemies. The other small cluster jewels are Quick Getaway and Provocateur. Quick Getaways, crit, attack speed, movement speeds, crit, crit multi, crit, attack speed, movement speeds, crit, crit multi. Jewels, life, crit multi, attack speed with swords, life, crit multi, life, crit multi, attack speed with swords. Pretty straightforward. We need 1 fluid motion to get enough dexterity to equip Paradoxica, which is the best installed sword for this build. You do not need attack speed. If you struggle with crit, you can use crit quality instead of attack speed quality. You do not need impale physical damage as the prefix either. So do not fall for the trap. We have 100% impale chance anyways, due to Dread Banner and impale support. So don't sweat it. Just use any high physical damage Paradoxica, and if you struggle with crit, use crit instead. Done. Then, next item. Red Blade Banner, best in slot. We need this item for our cooldowns to have infinite power. The most important line, however, is the increased Warcry cooldown recovery rate. So, since General's Cry works in a way that it summons minions which use the linked skill once and then they disappear, we want as much uptime on those minions in any shape or form. So getting cooldown reduction for Warcries is key. That's also why we take Admonisher, since it's Warcry speed and, you know, Warcry cooldown recovery rate, which is pretty nice. Then with Slaughter's Coil, you can use a rare belt too. Use rare boots with Fortify Or if you can't grab rare boots with Fortify, use Corpse Walkers instead. And instead of using Cast Rod Channeling and Desecrate, you just use a Fortify link in your Cyclone setup later on. Easy. Hero's Truth is super cheap and it's pretty insane for this build. Unfortunately, it does not have life, and the only way to get like a better amulet than this is like dexterity gems, strength gems, life, crit multi, you know, an insane rare amulet does outperform a Hero's Truth. I do not have an insane amulet, so I just use a Hero's Truth. It's a couple of C. Enchantment or anointment is Fatal Blade. Yeah, Abysses in the helmet slot. The best enchantment is General's Cry +1 to Mirage Warriors. If you can't find this enchantment, the next best one is Berserk Effect. Then life resistances on this ring. Non-channeling skills is nice to have, since we have Cyclone here, and I want my Cyclone to cost especially 0 mana. I don't know if I swap this from attribute to life and mana, if that actually scales the -3 to -4. I could try this. I haven't really done that ever. Maybe I can get my Cyclone free, but since I'm using an Enduring Mana Flask, it works pretty well. Then the other ring is Assassin's Mark on hits, and it's Hands of the High Templar have vulnerability on hit. That's why I'm running a +1 curse chest. If you do not have a +1 curse chest, do not run Assassin's Mark. Simple as that. What you really, really, really want on your chest is Attack Crit, which is a Hunter and an Elder mod, I believe. So knock yourself out. If you manage to get elevated Attack Crit, that's even better. Because if you have an elevated Attack Crit, you do not necessarily need Attack Crit on your Hands of the High Templar. Because vulnerability plus Attack Crit Hands of the High Templar tend to be very expensive. So, you know, watch out for that. Then that's pretty much it for the gear. There's not much. If you want to look at the gear again, just use the POB, which is in the description below. You don't need a Bottled Faith. You can use a Diamond Flask too. Really, there's the only thing because why I am using the Bottled Faith is so I get the more % damage or for enemies that are on consecrated ground. That's the entire reason. Everything else I'm not really interested in. Then skill gems. Let's go with this General's Cry, Impale, Blade Flurry, Pulverize, Brutality, and Melee Fizz. Infused Channeling on Cyclone, Cast Rod Channeling, Desecrate. Our auras are Anomalous Herald of Purity, so it taunts. You do not need this. Pride and Dread Banner. Dread Banner, preferably a level 21 one. Those are pretty cheap too. They're like 50-60 C, I believe. 21-20, that is. Then Berserk is important. You do not need a level 21 one. It doesn't scale. In this case, you can just grab a 2021. Then Anomalous Blood Rage is expensive. It's 6x, I believe, or 5 to 6x. You do not necessarily need this. I like it because it gives us an easy way to generate frenzy charges against single target encounters like Sirus. However, since we also generate charges with Mob Mentality, there is no real need to get this. You can save money here. I had an open slot, so I'm using Enhance. It's pretty nice. Why not, right? Then there is this is actually a lot of our damage too, which is Wall Ancestral War Chief and Ancestral Protector. In this case, we want Phantasmal Ancestral Protector. These are like, I believe, an X, maybe less. Just check what you can find. If you can't find a Phantasmal or if you can't afford it, just use a normal one. It's fine. And you will see why it's fine. Trust me. Well, we can start off with that anyways. This is the POB. This is real DPS numbers. This is not exaggerated. This is easy to get. We are almost crit capped. We have 150 million Sirus DPS. This is not against normal like bosses or anything. We have power charges and we have frenzy charges, since we generate power charges with Assassin's Mark and frenzy charges with Blood Rage. We have Fortify, which I didn't link. We have Fortify all the time, since we spin around all the time to generate corpses anyways, and as long as we hit something, we have Fortify anyways. Maximum rage is 70. I set it to 45, since we consume rage all the time, so let's say on average you have like 45 rage instead of 70. So this is not max rage, right? And we have crit recently, and we also have used a Warcry recently. It's going up. I'm trying to keep it down, but it's just going up. We have Fortify. Let's remove this so we don't figure out we don't take in the tailwind. Let's ignore the tailwind on the boots. It's still a lot. Let's take minimum effect of Pride as well. Like what can we remove as well? They are always taunted, and let's take this away, right? So we disable Bottled Faith and Lion's Roar. It's still over 100 million single target DPS. It's insane how much damage this build does. And just try it. Try it out for yourself. If you want more cheap options, you can use a Croatian's Carapace Golden Plate. It's pretty nice. Aspect of the crab gives us crab barriers. It's a lot of physical damage reduction running this aura, especially against Sirus. This is insane. So if you can't afford like an elevated base crit chest or whatever, use this instead. It's 3x 6 linked. It's really cheap. Use this instead. Paradoxica, just use one you can find. I think okayish rolls are 4x or so. Red Blade Banner is cheap too. Abyssus is cheap. Hands of the High Templar can be expensive. Just check what you can get. Two-tone boots. Don't forget the Fortify. If you do not have these, you can use Corpse Walkers instead. But you don't have the chance to get Tailwind on these. So if you're just here for, generating corpses on the boots, use Corpse Walker. And as I said earlier in the skills, instead of Cyclone and Cast While Channeling, use Fortify. And then you even have your new link open for in literally anything. Keep Desecrated level 1, since this costs even, the mana cost of the skill goes up based on the gem level. Like it's 11 at level 1 and now it's 19. So keep it at level 1. And that's basically it. Leaf Slam, Cast on Death Portal. This is full squish. I fall over occasionally, so while mapping, I like just Cast on Death and Portal. I am stupid, so this is what I opted out for. You need an Enlighten, at least level 2, otherwise you won't be able to cast anything. Yeah, 26 mana is a little low for an Enlighten. I don't feel like, yeah, you kind of need an Enlighten for this. The rest is pretty much the way to go, right? Pantheons, you can use whatever, doesn't matter. Pantheons are pretty bad anyways. They said they would rework them next league, if I'm not mistaken, and like the first Chris Wilson public podcast, but don't quote me on that. The only reason why we want Fortify for damage is this wheel. This is what I forgot to tell you. So, as I said earlier, if you can afford this chest, use the crustacean chest. If you can't afford boots like these, because Tailwind plus Fortify is not on the market, I had to craft these myself, and trust me, I failed on these. I failed on these a couple of times. I failed on these. Trust me. So just use Corpse Walkers instead, it's cheap. Just, you can also always watch Pee-wee Ninja and check different builds and how they fare. It's pretty straightforward. There's not much to lose. It's insane. I never really got into bossing myself, but just deleting them is actually pretty fun. And it's also a lot less stressful than running simulacrums on a mana miner all day, every day. That gets pretty insane pretty fast. But yeah, that's it. If you have any more questions, POB is in the description, comment away, or I'm probably going to post this on Reddit too, so just ask there anyways. Hit me up, and I hope to see you next time.